Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Michelle Burr. I have a 2-month-old son named Nash. We are navigating newborn infant life around here, and so I'm kind of like taking a step back and thinking, how could I help expecting moms, new moms? Maybe you had a baby 6 months ago or a year ago and some things have just still been a struggle. So I always try and think how I can help other moms using my YouTube channel. So today we're gonna be talking about day and night confusion. This is super duper common for babies. I have a friend whose daughter never had day and night confusion, which is crazy to me that her daughter came out of the womb knowing that all day is daytime and then nighttime means that we sleep. It's like, it literally blows my mind because they don't have that concept inside of the womb. If anything, it's super common because throughout the day as you're walking, you're kind of rocking your baby. So you might feel like less movement while you're pregnant throughout the day from your baby because essentially you're rocking them to sleep and they're really comfortable with like the movements you make, maybe even the sounds they hear. It's just kind of soothing for them. And then you may notice that whenever you lay down at night to go to sleep is whenever your baby starts getting buck inside of your belly and it is time to play and bounce around. That's exactly what Nash did. He would always wake up at around 10 p.m. whenever I was settled in bed and he would start kicking like crazy. And it was like clockwork. So this kid would sleep all day in my belly and then he would be playing whenever I was laying still and resting at night. It's almost like the stillness woke him up because I was no longer like rocking him back and forth. So just know that if your baby's going through this, it's extremely, extremely common. You might know a person or two where they didn't have to go through that, but I'm telling you, it's more common than not. He's actually napping right now and stirring, but he does not need to wake up. Okay, so I want to talk about what the room looks like during the day for us and what the room looks like during the night. And you might be expecting to say what every other mama will tell you to do, what really, really popular, common sleep trainers will tell you to do. You might hear me say different things than what they say. And again, different things work for different babies. It's just what I prefer in my household. So I'm just telling you what works for us and you can adjust it accordingly. So I have my notes here, by the way. I just didn't want to forget anything. So Nash does sleep in the bassinet in our room at night, but I do have him doing naps during the day in his crib. Now, if he has just had a bad night or a really bad day, extra fussy at the time, and he falls asleep in his swing or in the DockATot or wherever in the living room, since I'm awake and I'm supervising, I just leave him there and I let him get a good solid nap there. The other day, he fell asleep in his swing after a really, really bad day and I let him nap for 2 hours there. I mean, to me, it's like, do you want your baby to get a good solid nap or do you want to pick them up, risk them waking up whenever you set them down in their room? So with that being said, I will try and look at Nash's sleepy cues to know whenever he's ready to go take a nap. So some sleepy cues would be that he's like staring off into space. His eyebrow area will get really, really, really red. He will start to do like really slow blinks. Like his blinking will get really, really slow. And I've had him kind of, I don't want to say on a schedule because the times of the day are different all the time. I like to call it a pattern. So I have this pattern mentality versus like a schedule where at 2 o'clock he needs to be down for his nap. That is not what's happening here right now. We're just really flexible and we pay attention to his sleepy cues, and I do the same thing every single day. So he's kind of like gotten in a rhythm. So for naps, he does have his Hatch sound machine in his room. He also has the little shusher going. Those are just 2 of his favorite things that I've noticed. But something that you might not hear most people say is I do not have it pitch dark in his room. We did get blackout curtains, but it lets a lot of light in. And to me, that is kind of like a cue to him, like, okay, this is nap time. This is daytime sleep. There are some people that will put blackout, like black paper covering the windows to where it's pitch dark in their room for naps. And I kind of struggled with this because I don't want him to think during the day that that's bedtime sleep. Because let's say we are out and about or we're out of town, we're at a family's house, friend's house, I want to be able to stick him in whoever's bedroom so that he can get a good nap and he knows like this is nap time. And he also knows that nap time's not gonna be as long of a stretch as bedtime. And he really caught on to that really quick, and he sleeps fine with a little bit of light in the room. I just wanted him to be really flexible and not need pitch dark to where he wouldn't sleep any other way. I know that's a really unpopular opinion, but again, that's just what works for us. One more thing with like cues and sleepy cues is Nash kind of knows by now that whenever we walk into his room, I will turn on the sound machine with him, and I'll turn on the shusher with him, and I'll start to swaddle him. Those are all little cues for him to start getting tired. So it's really important that you do the same thing every single day, even if it's not the traditional way or what people think is the right way. As long as you're doing it every single day, your baby's gonna catch on like, oh, I'm about to get a nap. So we do have the Hatch sound machine. So I kind of have it programmed where the first time I touch it, it's a light with his white noise. And then when that light and white noise is still on, I will get him swaddled and get his blankie in there and just kind of put his passy in and him very good. And then I'll walk over there and I will push it again, and it's just the white noise and the light turns off. And then I just kind of like stand by his crib, kind of aid him to sleep if he needs it. Some days he doesn't need it at all and he just passes out before I get the chance to turn off the light and go back to the crib. Sometimes he does need me to be there a little longer, and I don't mind doing that, honestly. So then I just leave the room, and whenever it's time for Nash to wake up, I go in his room and I have the Hatch program to where I tap it again, a blue light will turn on and it'll make like little birdie, like bird sounds, like it's awake time. So that's a cue for Nash. If I do that every single time, then Nash knows that whenever he hears that birdie chirping with the blue light, then that's really awake time and I'm getting him out of the crib. I like that because sometimes I do need to go in there like mid-nap to like soothe him and help him, you know, connect those sleep cycles and keep sleeping through his nap. And if he doesn't see the blue light or hear the birdie noises, he'll stay tired because he knows it's not officially time to wake up for nap. He knows that I'm just gonna be in there swiftly, replace the passy if I need to, or soothe him for 10 seconds, and then I'm gonna be leaving. So again, babies are smart. They catch on to cues, they catch on to patterns. If you decide to follow like a time schedule, then if that's what works for you, it works for you. But I just want to let you know that if that's not the type of person you are, it's not your jam, it's not working for you and your baby, it's okay to not do like a strict schedule. Just have a pattern that you do. So for nighttime sleep, like I said, Nash is in the bassinet in the bedroom with Matt and I. He sleeps pretty much the same way in there. So we have the sound machine, he has his swaddle, we have his shusher in there, and that is just what he likes. I have this little blankie that he loves. I shared it on Instagram. It's a really nice blanket because it's covered in holes, and that's personally what I'm comfortable with and what helps him sleep and what saves my sanity. He also sleeps with the owlet, so that gives me a lot of peace of mind as well. So for nighttime sleep, we're all in the room together. The room is pitch dark, and he knows that in that environment that's pitch dark, he is gonna be doing longer stretches of sleep. Another thing that makes nighttime sleep different than naps for him is that we have started doing baths pretty much every night for him. I was bathing him every 2-3 days because they're babies. They don't get super dirty unless they, you know, are puking a lot or have a big blowout. But now we are trying to do some sort of bath every single night, even if I don't do soap or anything, because that bath is a cue for him that it's the end of the day, it's the evening, and he knows that he's gonna get his bath, lotion, PJs, and then he's gonna get a bottle and bed. So all of those cues are getting him geared up for nighttime sleep, and that's not happening during the day for nap time, and babies are smart and they catch on to that. As soon as I started implementing that, I will say that his stretches at night became a lot longer. Also, I do want to say, whenever your baby wakes up in the middle of the night, it's important to not stimulate them at all. Like, it needs to be quick, swift, to the point. If they need a bottle, do it quietly. Don't talk to them. Don't make, you know, cute baby sounds to them, even though I know it's tempting. I even resist like kissing him all over his face when I want to. It just needs to be very swift and quick and no stimulation at all. Sometimes I don't even make eye contact. Like, it's nighttime, we need to stay asleep, I will feed you, I will change you, and then we're gonna re-swaddle and we're gonna go back to bed. And he has gotten really, really good with that. So that has made things a lot easier to where it's clear to him that lights aren't being turned on, he doesn't hear the birdie sounds, things are just done really quickly, and he gets put back down for bed and he goes straight back to sleep. So a mistake that I was making with Nash's days and nights before, and like I corrected it and it was a quick change for him, so I want to share this. A mistake that I was making is I let him probably sleep too often and I let him feed to sleep. So now during the day, if I could tell you to do anything, it would be this. In between naps, I have a non-negotiable that Nash needs to be awake for an hour and a half between naps. My friend told me that tip and it has worked like a charm. Sometimes it's a struggle. Sometimes he can hang strictly an hour and a half between naps, and that just makes sure that he goes down really good for a really good nap. So in that hour and a half time, I will wake him up from a nap. I will do a diaper change straight away in his room. We will do a bottle and then I do some type of stimulation. You want to stimulate your baby during the day as much as possible. And I know some babies that can sleep all day and they are just fine, but Nash literally had no clue the difference between the nap and nighttime sleep, the difference between day and night. So I had to make that super clear for him. So what I do is in that hour and a half between naps is I try to stimulate him as much as possible. And that doesn't always mean like, oh, we sit there and do tummy time for 30 minutes. It could look like a bunch of different things. It could be a walk around the cul-de-sac. It could just be going outside to the backyard. It could be tummy time. It could be looking in the mirror. Sometimes we just walk around and just look at different things in the house. He's really liked his swing lately, so I'll put him in his swing and I'll just kind of sit in front of him and talk to him. There's so many different things that could look like awake time or stimulating your baby. One of Nash's favorite things to do is to lay on his Love Every play mat. We are obsessed with it. It also comes with some black and white cards that Nash loves. If you follow me on Instagram, you have seen him cooing and laughing, and he just loves just like kicking away and looking at those black and white contrast cards that come with your Love Every play gym. I cannot recommend this play gym enough. The hype is real, and it is a huge part of me keeping Nash awake for that hour and a half time in between naps, and he actually gets really tired and pretty burnt out on that thing. So I am so grateful for it and I love it so much. It's also a really important part of his development at this stage as well. So I just love our Love Every play gym. I keep it in our sunroom, which is a really bright space in our room, so he's wide awake and playing, and by the time we're doing that, the hour and a half is over and he is ready for his nap. So usually I will start him on his back on the Love Every play gym. There is a part on the top of the play gym that will allow you to hang some of those contrast cards, and he will just kick away and play and laugh, and then I will flip him over to do tummy time. The reason that I end with tummy time instead of starting with tummy time is really exhausting for most babies. So I don't want to do that first and piss him off and then him not want to play for the rest of that time segment before his nap. So I end with tummy time and just see how long he will go. I try and stretch it out as much as possible, and that is just what's been working for us. So that is probably my biggest tip. Hour and a half between naps, major stimulation, and that is going to show your baby the difference between this is what we do during the daytime and this is what we don't do during the nighttime. Another tip that my friend told me that I had no clue, maybe this is common knowledge, but I didn't know, maybe this will help somebody, is babies have sleep cycles. If you have the Owlet app, you can see when your baby goes from light sleep to dark sleep, from light sleep, dark sleep. I meant deep sleep. Light sleep to deep sleep, light sleep to deep sleep. So what most people don't know about babies is whenever they go into these different sleep cycles, they slightly wake up and they're just not developmentally able to sleep through those sleep cycles like us adults are, which most adults wake up in between sleep cycles too, but we are just obviously adults and we can sleep through it and we don't even remember waking up. Well, babies, until they get, I think about maybe 5 months old, I might be wrong, I'm not for sure, can't connect those sleep cycles without waking up. So some babies will wake up in between sleep cycles and you wouldn't even know it. They don't make a noise, they just briefly open their eyes and then they go back to sleep and they continue their nap. Other babies, like mine, wake up crying in between those sleep cycles because they cannot connect those sleep cycles. Now, this was a mistake that I made with naps and nighttime sleep, but mostly naps. So Nash would be napping and the sleep cycles occur around every 30 to 40 minutes. So I noticed that his naps were only 30 minutes long, and I would be like, what the hell? Why is he only napping for 30 minutes long? Because he would wake up crying after 30 minutes. Well, it wasn't that he was done with his nap, it was that he was waking up in between those sleep cycles. And instead of me just watching the monitor and letting him continue his nap, even though he might have to, you know, cry for a little bit or look around the room and just get himself back into the nap. Instead of doing that, I would hear him crying, I would immediately go in there, I would unswaddle him, pick him up, and just wonder why his nap was so short. And he was such a crab all day long, and it was really hard to get him down at night because after doing that, for every single nap, he was so beyond overly tired around 6, 7 p.m. that he was just over it. So a tip for you, if you're able to do this, some people don't think that this is the right thing to do, and that's fine. It's just what works for me. Just know that every 30 or 45 minutes or so, your baby is trying to go through the sleep cycles, and they might wake up screaming just like Nash. But the majority of the time, Nash will go back to sleep and finish his nap. And it happens a few times in a nap. But if it's like an off day or he's extra crabby for whatever reason, and he just cannot self-soothe and he cannot make his way back down to finish his nap, then I will have to go in there and replace the passy or pat him or whatever, but I do not pick him up and I don't stimulate him whatsoever because he doesn't know that he's not done with his nap yet. I know that he's not done with his nap yet, and I just have to remind them of that pretty much. So I would say probably in about a week of me doing this for Nash, he's really started to catch on to what is days and what is nights. He's not sleeping through the night whatsoever, but he is having really long, doable stretches, and his naps are just getting better and better as the day goes. So just stick with it. Come up with a pattern that works out for you and your baby. I always like to say that our kids aren't cut from cookie cutters, so every baby is different. You just have to figure out what works for yours. I'm really open and honest about our struggles with Nash because it is real life. It is newborn struggles. It is just baby struggles in general. It might be a struggle until he's a year old, and there's nothing wrong with that. So make sure you follow me on Instagram because I'm always just really open and honest, because every time I share something honestly about Nash, everybody, pretty much everyone that watches my stories can relate to what's going on. So I just try to be really helpful and really honest whenever it comes to stuff like this. Hopefully I didn't leave anything out. If you have any questions about this, leave them below. I will be happy to answer and help as much as I can. Like I said, this has just been like learning as I go, asking people for their advice and their opinion, and just like little things that I've learned along the way. Hopefully I'm not leaving anything out, but just comment down below if you have any questions. You can always DM me on Instagram as well. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I have so many more like helpful motherhood type videos coming your way, so make sure you subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. Thank you for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
'Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. I feel so free, I'm a sweet baby.